Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm Christina Taylor, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from North Canton, Ohio. And I'm so excited that you decided to join me today for some Christmas card making. So even though well, this is like what's today, November 6th. Um, we're busy making cards. I had my Christmas card class this last weekend, and it was a great class. We did 20 cards, and great group of ladies, enjoyed some Christmas cookies and some Christmas music, all while the sun was shining outside, and I think it was close to 60 degrees. So not your typical weather for Ohio, but hey, we'll take it. So it's another beautiful day today. It's like 60, 62 out there. The sun is shining. So it's a good time to get yard work done, which is what I was doing earlier today. Breaking up those leaves and all that kind of good stuff. So anyway, I think that's about it. I'm excited to share these projects with you. We're not going to make 20 cards on the class video because they did multiple ones at class, but I'm going to kind of take you through the process and share the projects with you so you can get an idea of how to complete them so you can make some of your own. And coming up just next week, actually on November 15th, I have a gratitude card class that I do actually every November, because November tends to be, a thankful month. People, are counting their blessings. Not that we don't every day, but there's just a more of an awareness, I guess, about it in November. And so I always like to offer a gratitude card class. So those cards will feature like fall and winter designs. And when I say winter, not like Christmas, but it'll have a winter feel to it, so that they're perfect to give this time of year as we move closer into the holiday season. So okay, well, thank you so much for joining me and letting me share some creativity. I'm going to turn the camera down and we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, we are going to go ahead and get started. And again, this is going to be a little bit longer because we are making some quite a few cards. So, grab yourself a nice cup of tea or your favorite beverage, whatever you might like, and just get cozy. And we're going to do a little stamping. Okay, so on this first set of projects, we're going to do a one sheet wonder. And the stamp set that I'm using is the Magical Meadow. So we're going to use these 4 images out of the stamp set. And then I've also brought in the Brightest Glow. That's where my sentiments are coming from. I opted not to use these sentiments, not that there's anything wrong with them, but the die cuts that I used, I wanted different sizes, as you'll see as we kind of go along. So we're going to use that Brightest Glow stamp set on one of the other projects. So I'll show a little closer look. I've just already pulled out all the sentiments that I needed for that one. So this is in the holiday catalog, the September through December. And then there's also a set of dies that goes along with it. So you've got these to cut out all the images in the stamp set, and then these detailed pieces. And then this gives you like a nice little, like kind of pierced snowflake die that you can do it on the inset, like set it, I want to say put the texture on your card. And then these two, of course, die cut these images in the stamp set as well. So that's bundled together for a 10% savings in the holiday catalog. We're not using the dies on this particular project. And then also, grab the paper here. I would spread it all out so that way you can kind of see it all at one. Should be able to get all this in the camera. So this is the Winter Meadow Designer Series paper. Okay, so you can kind of get an idea of all the pretty pictures. On the back side, you kind of got some watercolor, like crystal effects with done with like water and salt and all that kind of just really neat, beautiful texture. These two pieces in particular have a nice big sprig of flourishes and things on them, which would be beautiful on card making. And then also this one here that you could cut at 5 1/4 and do 4-inch panels and get multiple card fronts for your card, and just put a nice like Christmas greeting there, maybe with a pop of red or something, a holiday color. So this is really beautiful paper as well, and it's part of the suite. Along with this shimmer, wait, it is called sheer ribbon. It's got a silver metallic edge to it. This is also in the Winter Meadow collection. And then some snowflake paper that we'll be using here a little bit later, and I'll give you a peek at that as well. That's part of the suite. So as you can tell, I was like really a huge fan of that particular suite. The inks that we're using: Lost Lagoon, Gray Granite, Misty Moonlight, and Blackberry Bliss. Okay. If you see any products today in today's video that you would like to have for your paper crafting creations, you can shop my online store at stampingyoucrazy.stampinup.net. My current hostess code is YNYWJGYP. And that code I think is good until like the 22nd, 25th, somewhere right around there. If you ever go to shop online and it's this code, the code that you got out of the video is not active, you can always email me at stampmecrazy@sbcglobal.net and ask me for the current host code. I'm happy to share that with you. That using that code makes you eligible for the monthly card kits that I give away for those additional online orders. So I appreciate your business. Okay, so for this project here, we are going to, oh, and I did, I don't know, I don't have the set of dies here. No, there they are. We used the, I used the Stylish Shapes dies. I was like, I don't even know where they're at. I used the Stylish Shape dies. I used this square. And then this banner piece, which I've already die cut for us. And then I've used the Brightest Glow dies, which I'll show you when I've got the Brightest Glow stamp set that I'm using on one of the other projects. And then I also used the double oval punch with the scallop here. I punched that out too. So we used a bunch of different options as far as our die cutting for our labels. Okay, so as I mentioned, we're doing a one sheet wonder. So I've got an 8.5 by 11 sheet of basic white cardstock, and I've got that scored right down the center at 4. So this way, 4 1/4, and then I scored it in the center, the 11-inch way, 11-inch side at 5.5. So it's given me like a grid mark here. You can kind of just see my score lines there. It's given me a reference point in which to do my stamping, which we'll get to in just a minute. Got my envelope. Now this series of cards, we are going to make 4. I'll show you those in just a bit. Let me finish with the supplies. Then I've got a piece of Blackberry Bliss at 5.5 by 8.5. And I thought for a minute there I wasn't recording. And then I've got a piece of basic white that's cut 3.5 by 5. And I've gone ahead and already done my die cutting for all 4 cards. So these 2 came from the Stylish Stitch Shapes, and you can see the stitching around them. And then we've got this guy coming from the Brightest Glow die cuts. And there's some little, these little guys need to come out right there. We've got those little, and some stitching on that one. So got those. And then of course I did my scalloped oval as well. So have those, they're all die cut out of the Gray Granite. Then I have some of the elegant metallic trim, and I've done it in the gold. And then this is just some baker's twine, white baker's twine with the metallic silver in it. So the ladies at class had 2 of each, because again, we're making 4 cards. Okay, so let me give you an idea what the cards look like. So this is what the cards are going to look like for this series of cards. So we've done 4 cards. We're going to stamp one sheet all at the same time and then do some cutting to get our 4 card panels, okay? And then on the inside, we've got a little bit of a greeting or a sentiment inside, and then some additional stamping. So I think I'll probably focus on, let's see, which one do I want to do? We'll do this banner piece. I'm not going to make all 3 of these because the layout is basically the same, but I'm going to show you how to create them just for time purposes. So okay, let me grab a piece of cardboard here so I have something to stamp on. Go ahead and get my ink open, and I did not re-ink the last Lagoon because I was using it yesterday. But I didn't re-ink the other ones after class, so they might be very well loved as far as the pressure put on them to kind of ink. So we shall see if I need to grab my re-inkers and stamp them once again for class. Okay. All right, so I've got all my inks on, or all my stamps on the colors that I want to use them on. And when I do like a one sheet wonder and I'm using multiple images, I would like to start with the larger image. Let's see how that guy stamps. It looks like it's fairly inked. So what I'm going to do is I'm using my lines as a guide. Just trying to create somewhat of a pattern. And I'll show you. Actually, I probably could actually look at that, but I'll just do my own thing because this one will look a little differently. For the class, I took a copy of mine before I cut it and everything so that the ladies could see how mine looked prior to cutting it. So, and when they were stamping theirs. So I'm gonna go with this, and we can always come back and add to it. So for me, when I'm doing a one sheet wonder, I try to like to do things in a pattern, even though it doesn't look like a pattern when you're looking at it overall. So I'm going to take this like little eucalyptus blossom, and I'm just going to stamp that next to every cluster that I had of the blue stem with the little berries on it for consistency purposes. And I'm just doing it all to the left. So there's like a method to my madness anyway. And that one already has that on the left. So I'll come down and do one here. Okay. So I've got that little stem on there. Then next I'm going to come in with my gray granite. And again, I didn't stamp these before, so I don't know how well inked they are. They were pretty well loved at class. So I'm going to put this on the right side of the blue stem, filling in that space. And there, trying to fill these in a little bit. Okay, and I think I'll bring one down here. Okay. Right, it's kind of coming together there. Then I'm going to come in with the Blackberry Bliss little berries. And these I'm just going to add where I want that pop of color of the Blackberry Bliss. There's really no right or wrong way to do this. It's just wherever you want to put the color. And feel like that, you know, that artist where he's like, you know, putting a little tree and stuff and like the forest and things like that. What's his name? Bob Ross. Yeah. Maybe that's not a good comparison. Maybe I'm not, I shouldn't be comparing myself to him. That's probably not. Probably not. Okay. Those berries down here. I want to put some. Just what I'm doing is just looking for gaps that I've got where I can introduce the other colors that I don't have, you know, to kind of get those on each piece. So if you're looking at this, this is going to be a panel. That one is that one. So I'm like, I want to make sure I've got some blackberry everywhere and other colors. Okay. And does it go come in with like another set of berries there? I think I like this one. I think the way it is, I'm gonna leave it just as actually I'm gonna add another stem right there. And I think I will right here too. Look, you know what? I'm like, oh, and then maybe here, and then maybe here. I just need to stop. I'm gonna stop. So I've done all the stamping on that. I'm gonna set that aside because while I've got the stamps out, I may as well do my my inside layer while I've got the stamps out before I close them up. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of each one of these. On there. Do my envelope here, and for the envelope, I'm gonna do the blue and the little berries. Just keep it simple, so that'll go along with our theme. And then I've got the inside sentiment, may your days be happy, your heart be light, your Christmas be merry, and your new year be bright. And I'm going to stamp that in the Blackberry Bliss. Okay. And use this label here and stamp our sentiment. I'm also going to do that in the Blackberry Bliss. We'll see if I can get this where I want it. There we go. Yep, good. Okay. So I've got all my stamping done. I'm going to go ahead and shake the ink so that the so I don't set my cards in there. Just quite possible. And clean off these stamps. Get those away. Got my chamois here. I don't believe it or not, I really just wash these in the washer. You can I wash my chamois by putting them in like a one of those mesh netting bags and wash it with some OxyClean. And I know it's stained quite bad with all the inks and stuff, but it did really freshen it up. They get a lot of love during classes. All right, I've got all of those clean. So we are ready to go. I'm gonna bring in my paper cutter. And bring in my one sheet that I cut. So what I'm gonna do first is just cut this in the 4 1/4, cut the sheet in half. We're gonna cut a sheet in half long way and or 8 1/2 side, and then we're gonna do the 11-inch side. And I'm cutting it right at 5 1/2. Okay. So now what these are, they would cover the entire front of my card, and I want to have a nice layer. So I'm just gonna look at this and see if like which edges I want to cut the 1/4 inch off of. Because they need to be cut down to 4 by 5 1/4 inches. So I'm gonna do 5 1/4 and just cut off this one edge and turn it and cut that top edge off. Put that at 4 inches. And I'm gonna do that on each one. Now, I know you're probably like, why aren't you just taking like a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece and just stamping each one individually? Because honestly, by doing a one sheet wonder, it does cut down on the time that you spend like stamping it, because you're using that stamp all over both all 4 pieces at one time, and then just coming back in and doing some quick cuts. So it does cut down on your time if you are, I missed my line there a little bit. So let me take off a little bit there. For some reason, I must have been off on the score line or the cutting line there because it was a little wonky. It does cut down on the amount of time that you have to spend stamping it, and it allows you to do more cards at the same time, if that makes sense. And when you're doing a lot of cards, whether it be for like a birthday or Christmas or whatever the occasion might be, a one sheet wonder is a great way to go. Simplify and cut down on your time. Okay, so I am going to make just one of the cards. So here is what, let me see if I can kind of piece this back together, how it was. No. There we go. Okay, so this was my sheet of cardstock before I started cutting. So I'm going to make one of the cards, but you'll do the same process for all 4 cards. But for time purposes, I'm just going to take one and do that. But as you can see, they're all going to have a very similar layout. So I'm going to take my Blackberry Bliss cardstock and fold that in half and flatten that crease. And come in with my Tombow adhesive. My front panel on there. Okay. And then I've got my little layer for the inside. And we're going to come in with this little stitched guy here. Let me grab some dimensionals. So I like to, you know, when you're keeping the card simple, if you just add a couple dimensionals to your sentiment, pop that up, it really creates some extra interest on the front there. Elevates that a bit. And I'm just going to put that in my white space on the card. And then some little glue dots. Let me find those little guys. So I just got some glue dots from a paper pumpkin kit, because let's be honest, we all get a lot of glue dots in our paper pumpkin kits. Let me just tell you. So then I'm going to take my elegant trim using the gold here and just place that right below my sentiment. Leave these over here. And there we go. We've got our first card all done. Like I said, I'll bring these back in so you can take a look at all 4. So this was our first one. That's the one we created, although this was my pre-made one already. And here's your 4 samples. And how to complete the rest of them using the different die cuts, the different ribbons to put them all together, right? Okay, so I'm going to clean these supplies up, move them out of the way, and come back with another project for you. Okay, I'm back with another project for you here. So on this one, I want to flip to a page here. All right, so on this particular project, this is the beauty we're going to create on this one. And can you see that sparkly paper? I can't get the light to pick it up. It's just not getting it in the camera. There's there's some glitter paper there, and it has a shimmer and a sparkle to it, and it's just not picking it up on the camera very well. All right, so this is the card we're going to create next. And the supplies that we're using are Night of Navy ink, our basic, our white craft pad, and then for my stamp set, so one of the ones, the For Unto Us that I'm using, this is a retired set, and I know that it's, you know, I feel bad using that, but I will tell you, I wanted to use a very faith-based sentiment on this card, and this suite of products in the holiday catalog, the Night Divine stamp set and the Stars at Night, they were so popular that I couldn't get them. I couldn't get it because it was out of stock and waiting on the dies and everything. That I had to implement something else so that I could get projects designed for the class. But this Night Divine bundle is just stunning with the manger and the Bethlehem scene and all that. Just like super beautiful, beautiful, beautiful suite of products. So, which you can get now. So if you love them, you can definitely order them. It's just I could not get them when I was designing for my class. So please forgive me on that one, but we're going to use the the sharing with you the glory, the wonder, the miracle of this holy season out of this stamp set, as well as the other sentiment that I'm using is the Merry Christmas out of here. So then I'm also using Perched in a Tree and the Aspen Tree dies that go along with this stamp set. So I'm using the tree die itself from this bundle. I don't believe it's a bundle anymore, but you can still get both of the products. And I'm going to use this little speckled stamp out of here. Okay. And then I've got some glitter paper for some extra shimmer on this one. So this one we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, so I had a 4 by 5¼ piece of basic white cardstock, and I have gone ahead and die cut that out so you get this beautiful winter, like kind of birch tree type feel. I love this die. It is beautiful, well worth the investment for your paper crafting. Highly recommend it. Then I've got a piece of Night of Navy that is cut at 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So it's just slightly smaller than our white piece. Another piece of basic white that is 5½ by 8½. And then of course our envelope, a piece of basic white that is 7/8 by 4 inches. And then the glimmer paper that if you got like a kit to go, your glimmer paper would be, I think, 1 1/8 by 4. But I was running low by the time I cut everything for the classes. So I've cut mine in little strips, and I'm going to have to improvise a little bit. So you might have a wider strip in there. You may have a couple of these strips. If you do, follow the instructions, you'll be fine as far as how we're going to put that together. So no worries there. All right, I'm going to bring my cardboard piece back in here. I may as well do the stamping on here. And open up my white and my navy pad. So on the Night of Navy, I'm just going to go ahead and take my little speckled stamp and stamp a bunch of speckles in the background. And this, of course, is simulating like there's a snow flurries in the background of the night sky. Okay. So we've got that done. That's all we needed the white for. So I'm going to shut that and set it aside. Clean off my stamp. Look at that. Doesn't that look like, I tell you, this looks like the sky on Halloween here because we had a snow system come through on Halloween, woke up on November 1st to snow. Yes, so, you know, it is Ohio. All right, I'm going to take that out of the way. Grab just a piece of white paper. Set that aside to dry. We need to stamp our greeting. We're going to do that on the Night of Navy. Okay. Clean that. And then I'm going to take my card base and just fold this in half. Grab my bone folder and flatten that crease. And then while I've got my ink out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my Merry Christmas on the inside. So pretty. All right, so we'll set that aside and come back with our die cut woods. I'm going to shut that ink pad when we're done stamping. Grab my Tombow adhesive. And I'm just going to put that around each of the corners. And then kind of just sporadically on the trees here. Put that around and put that over my native navy piece and press that into place. Okay, so there we've created that kind of like that starry night kind of scene in the background. And then we'll come back in with the greeting. And so because I have two little pieces, I'm going to have to put some adhesive down and kind of play with those as far as where I want to attach it. And I am going to use my Stampin' Seal for that. So I'm just going to run some adhesive down both sides of that. I'm getting the adhesive off the front because I got a little crazy with the adhesive and that look, which is going to be, yes, we need to get rid of that because I've now got adhesive on it. So I put adhesive on the top and the bottom of my sentiment piece. And I'm just going to position my little shimmery cardstock with the glitter on it right above and below my sentiment. So you've got this piece and I can't, oh, there you got a little bit the shimmer that's picking up, but that's what it's going to look like in the back. So you've got the two little pieces like that. So either way, whatever you have in your kit, you can make it work. Like I said, I was running out of the adhesive, so that you know, created a bit of urgency of like, I've got to improvise here, got to change this up. All right, grab some more Tombow. Put this on our card front. I love the white on white. It's so clean and just really classic looking, I think. And because I've got multiple layers here, I'm just going to come in with my snail. Not my snail, the Stampin' Seal. And just place that there, right on the front. Oh, so pretty. I love this simplicity of this card. And then I'm going to keep my envelope just white. I'm not going to stamp anything on this one. And that is our next project. So, okay, I'm going to clean this up and then I'll be right back with another project for you. So hang in there with me. Okay, all right, this next project we're going to create, I'll give you a peek at it here. Okay, we are going to get started with this one. Love snowflakes. You can use these little guys all, you know, practically till April here in Ohio. So the stamp sets that I'm using on this one is the Snow Crystal. It's a big background, large snowflake stamp. So pretty. And then the Cheers to the Season, which is a new stamp. That snowflake is in the big catalog, the annual catalog. The Cheers to the Season is in the September through December mini catalog. And we're going to use the 'Tis the Season out of this one. We're using the deckled circle dies. These babies are fabulous. Oh my gosh, such a value, such a great value with this set of dies. I am using these two right here, this size, out of the whole bunch. And I've already gone ahead and die cut those for you, so I'll show you those, but just selected those two. And then the ink that we're using is boho blue ink. So super simple. So our supplies, we've got a piece of Misty Moonlight that is 5.5 by 8.5. Then of course our envelope. I've got a piece of that sheer metallic edge ribbon that was part of the Winter Meadowlands suite of products. So we're going to use that. Now in your kit, you may also have this ribbon. I did run out of this for all the ones that I had to cut. So, but this will be very complimentary to your project either way. Then I've gone ahead and die cut a circle out of basic white and then one out of Misty Moonlight. So those are already done. And then I've got a piece of basic white that's 3.5 by 5. And then a layer of boho blue that's 4 by 5.25. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start by folding our card base in half. And we're going to do a little stamping. So I'm going to get all my pieces here that I need to stamp on. Grab another piece of stamping paper. And good gracious. Okay, so we're going to start with the blue base, and I'm going to use the large snowflake first. Okay, so for the large background stamps, I like to ink them like this. Just set it on my table surface. Normally I would use this like with the Stamparatus, but because I want to do multiple positions of the snowflake, you need it on a block. So this is our largest block that we sell. And I'm just going to start stamp that. And I'm just going to stand up to do this. It's a larger stamp, so I mean, I've got to stand up when I'm stamping this baby. Do it again. Ink it. One more time. Stamp it there. And I think I'll put a little bit right here too, because there's a little bit of space there. Yeah. Okay. So I've got those done. And I may as well come in with my envelope and do a little snowflake. I'm going to try and ink it this way. That's good. That's so pretty. I like that. Okay, so we've got our envelope decorated there. And then on the inside, I think I'm just going to keep this simple. So I'm not going to stamp anything on the inside as far as like an image. I'm just going to do my sentiment. And this one also came out of the Brightest Glow stamp set. It's may the piece of the season light your world and may the new year be the brightest. And again, I'm going to use that on one of the other projects coming up here. So I'll just go ahead and stamp that. And then we've got our, I'm going to remove this so I can kind of see better. Then we've got our 'Tis the Season with the ornaments. Okay. And I removed my stamping paper because it was the white on white. So I'm hoping to be able to just kind of eyeball this and get it where I want it to go. Perfect. Love that. Happy with that result. So I'm going to go ahead and close the ink up because we are done stamping. These cards were meant to be very simple, duplicatable, mailable cards. That was my process as far as when I was designing the cards. grab a little tape. When I'm putting tape on my cards that I'm wrapping around or, fastening them in place, I prefer to just put Scotch tape on the back side of it. That's just me. You can put your adhesive there. I just tend to just tape them with some Scotch tape. So I'm just that around. There we go. That in place. So I've just got that sparkly ribbon coming across, or the sheer, whichever you might have in your kit, it's just coming across the front there. And glue this guy on top of the deckled circle. Gives it a nice, beautiful layer there. And because I've got the ribbon on the back side, I prefer to use a tape runner to fasten this down instead of my Tombow. The Tombow will work fine. It's just me and my, quirkiness on. That's how I want to do it. Anytime I've got ribbon wrapped around it, I tend to just use the tape. My personal preference. Then I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of this, and I've got partial sheet here, so I'm just going to slice into these and use some of the edges, the scraps. You definitely want to do that when you've got your sheeted dimensionals. Is like, it's done. Just clip off the edges. Those are usable supplies instead of throwing them away. These. Add my inside layer. Nice frame around it. Okay. And then I didn't, so the card's done, and it's beautiful just like this, but we're gonna give it take it up a notch. So I'm gonna come in with some shimmer spray that I made, and this is just Stampin' Up! Used to carry this. It's some all-purpose shimmer, like frost shimmer paint, and I just took and put maybe like quarter teaspoon of it in this bottle. This was like an old hair product bottle, and put 70% rubbing alcohol in there to make my own shimmer spray. I've got a little tray here, so I'm going to take and just spray that on there. And it's dark right now. It'll dry. It's got rubbing alcohol in it, so it's going to dry pretty quickly. Away. So this is our finished project. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see the shimmer on the camera, but trust me, there is a beautiful shimmer just ever so lightly on this card. And that is just a great way to add your cards, just to take them up a notch and give them a little extra sparkle. So okay, I will clear these supplies, and then I'm going to come back in with another project for us. All right, here we go. We are humming along here. We've just got these two, well, it would be four. If you've got the kit, you're going to be making four of them. And then we've got one more. So this is a quick peek at what we're doing. Just a simple card. These are popped up with some dimensionals. Simple Christmas card that it's a great way to use your designer series paper. So we all have it. We've all got a ton of it. You've got Christmas paper. You can duplicate this card in any color template. Get out that paper, cut it, chop it up, and get it on a card front and send it out just to brighten somebody's day this holiday season. So the Christmas paper that I'm using is retired. I know but I know you stampers, I know you've got Christmas paper somewhere, and you can take those Christmas papers, cut them up, and do this color template, this color layout. Oh my gosh, card layout, super easy. So that's the colors that we're using. I'm just going to make one of the two designs today, but they're the same layout. So you can take that and your supplies and just repeat it over to get the 4 cards made within your card kit. We're using Garden Green and Real Red. We're using the Labels Aglow die cuts, and I'm using this one on to this project right now. We used this one earlier on the One Sheet Wonder. This was one of the dies I grabbed out of there. You'll find those dies in the big catalog. And then this is the Brightest Glow stamp set. This is the stamps that I was telling you about earlier, where we used pretty much, well, you can see by the back of the stamp set that I used all the stamps out of here except for these 4 on the cards. So between this project and then the One Sheet Wonder, I used multiple ones out of here today. So great, great holiday set with sentiments on it. So our supplies, we've got our envelope, of course. We're going to focus on the real red one. So I've got a real red piece of cardstock that is 5.5 by 8.5. I've got a piece of basic white that is 3.5 by 5. Another piece of basic white that is 4 by 5. I've gone ahead and done my die cutting out, and let me just grab take your pick tool and get these little pieces out. Some come out when I was doing the die cutting, but I didn't take time to pop them all out. So you've got this beautiful label. Put that detail on there. These little guys out of the way. Okay, and then I've got 4 pieces of designer series paper. So I'm going to use the snowflake side on one and the plaid on the other. And these little squares are cut 2¼ inches, so 2¼ inches long by 1¾ inch. And you need 4 of them per card. And then I've taken some of our white ribbon and just tied little bows. I always like to tie the bows for the ladies. They're already done at class, so they just have to put them on. They don't even have to mess with them. So the garden green project would be the exact same cuts. Everything's the same as far as your measurements. On this one, I've used snowflake and Christmas tree paper, and it would be laid out in the exact same way. But I'm going to focus, like I said, on the red one today. So we will start by folding our card base in half. Okay. And then I do a little stamping, and I'll get that garden green pad out since we're just doing red. And I'm going to start with my Merry Christmas. Stamp that. And then my inside greeting is wishing you a season of hope and light. Okay. And I didn't think of something for my envelope. I thought about it further. I should have grabbed some more designer series paper and done the envelope flap, but we'll just kind of roll with what I've got in place here. Okay, so I've got my stamping done. Now it's time to go ahead and just put our squares in place. So I've got 2 of each. And how I want to lay them out is kind of angled from each other. So that's kind of the direction I want to go. And I'm going to use liquid adhesive so that I have some time to readjust and reposition them. And I'm just going to do it so that I've got a nice border around the outer edge of my card. To the next corner. And I'm not really pressing them firmly in place. I'm just kind of placing them there, giving myself some time to reposition them. So I like the way that looks. I'm comfortable with that. I like my placement. So I'm going to go ahead and just press those into place. Okay. And go ahead and bring my card base back in here. And we'll get that glued on top. how quickly and easily this comes together. These cards for holiday cards, you know, we have a gazillion things to do with the holiday season, but it's so nice to make your own Christmas cards and have that creative outlet. So this is a great way to like do that, but not over stress about it. And bring in a couple of those pieces. That in place. Then the camera is not focusing as well as I'd like it to focus today. It seems a little blurry. Let's see if there's any glue dots left on this roll. Glue dot there in place, and take and put my bow right on top. And there we go. We've got the card done like already. It's super easy, comes together really, really nicely, and it's just a clean classic design. Okay, all right. Let me clean up these supplies and I will come back with our next design. Okay. Let's see, let's keep one another way. Okay, remember that I was talking to you about the Magical Meadows, all that series of products that we used in our One Sheet Wonder. So this is the Snowflake Magic metallic paper. Now, there's very limited amounts of it left because I really chopped this up. So I'm gonna grab like a little sheet of each, which is pretty much all I've got left. Well, I've got this big sheet of here. So you get this metallic fun blue with the snowflakes on it. This kind of like, I don't know how you describe that. It's just got flecks of metallic silver in it with the white background, super cool and pretty. And then this one with the snowflakes that are a little larger, and it's more of a lighter, like Lost Lagoon. So I have punched out circles galore out of this packet of papers. It beautifully complements that suite of products, but this I'm using it in and of itself without those stamps from that suite that it is part of. And again, you'll find that in the September through December catalog. So because I had to stamp out, or punch out, I don't even know how many circles, like I was seeing circles everywhere. So on some of the kits, I had to do sections of circles, like I'm going to show you here, like this one. You're like, that is not a full circle. Or this one I did and I tore it. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to show you that you can use it. You won't even be able to tell that it's torn. And yeah, so just know that if you got one of these circles, you wouldn't get a torn one in there. I will tell you that one. But if you got a circle and it's like kind of like a half, 3/4 moon, I'm going to show you how you can use it properly within your kit. Like this one has the 3 full circles of the metallic paper, which is, you should have those in your kit. But if you don't, if you got one that has like a section of one, because my supplies were running low and I needed to get all the kits together, watch this video. I'm going to show you how to place them. You'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay, put these aside. All right, so the supplies that we are using on this project, Lost Lagoon and Pool Party ink, I had them both out at class. The ladies could use whichever one they wanted. They both complement the project. We are using a series of circle punches. We've got the 2.5 inch circle punch, so 1.25 inch circle punch, the 1 3/4 circle punch, the 2 inch circle punch. And some of these, yes, they are our old designs, but you know, Stampin' Up! Quality punches, they last forever. And they took our punches out of the catalog and now they're back on our online exclusive. So if you don't have the circle punches, which are a staple to paper crafting, definitely check out the online exclusives. Stampin' Up! Released a bunch more of exclusives. Will be tomorrow on November the 7th, or actually really late tonight, I think. So you want to make sure to check those out because there's all kinds of products that just come on and they're like, sometimes they're while supplies last, they do replenish them. It's like, we don't ever know, but there is some beautiful, beautiful designer series paper coming out, some great punches and some additional stamp sets and dies. So definitely check them out. The stamp set that I'm using is the More Wishes, which is great with the bold font and then like the cursive font to get a combination in there. And I've done it so that it's got, I put the words Christmas wishes to you that I'm going to put on inside, kind of put the words all together to create my own sentiment. And then I've got the Very Best Occasions, which is a stamp set that is in the big catalog. And I'm using, with a little more sparkle and a little less stress, let's make this Christmas the very best. So I'm using that sentiment on the outside. And just a quick look at the project here. This is what we're going to create. And we've got some of those circles up on dimensionals. So this project, I always try to offer different layouts with my projects. And this one is just a very whimsical, fun Christmas card. They all have a little bit different feel. So with the circles and the metallic paper and all those good things. So the supplies in this kit are a basic white that is cut 5.5 by 8.5. We've got our envelope. We've got a piece of Pool Party that's 3.5 by 5. A piece of basic white that is 3.25 by 4 3/4. And then of course I've punched out the designer series paper circles in multiple different sizes. So we've got those punched out. And then I've got some little iridescent gems that we're going to put on there as well. All right, so we're going to go ahead and fold the card base in half. And I need to grab my foam mat because I'm going to stamp I want to stamp my sentiment, and it is a photopolymer stamp. So I want to make sure to use my foam mat to give it a little extra cushion so I get a nice transfer. Stamp that first. Set down. There we go. So I'm going to set that aside. And I use the Pool Party for the inside sentiment, but on the outside for our circle piece, I do want to use the Lost Lagoon. So I'll come back in with that in a bit. So I've used all the smaller circle punches, and I'm going to take the rather large circle punches with the 2.5-inch one, insert my Pool Party cardstock all the way so it butts up against the back of the punch. Punch that out. And that's going to give me my circle for my sentiment. We're going to take this piece and our basic white and layer that right over top. So I'm just going to go around the perimeter on that because I've got a big hole in the center of that cardstock. And put that in place to create my layer. So you don't even know that that circle has been punched out behind there. It's a great way to use your supplies, especially if you're like not wanting to do extra cuts to punch things out. You just want to cut out of a layer you're already using. Plus it doesn't add any extra weight to your cardstock. So with postage and everything, you don't have to worry about that. So let's go ahead and ink up our greeting and stamp that. Okay. And then we're going to come in with our circles to get this little guy together here. Put that top layer on. Okay. And then I know I want to put my sentiment on with dimensionals. I want to give that a little extra lift. The other dimensional there. think 3 ought to do it. All right, so I want to put this, I kind of create a space for my sentiment first off. And then I've got this circle where I'm like, oh, it's only 3/4 of a circle, but I'm going to tuck it from behind. You're not even going to be able to see that that other section is not there. So you can, like I said, you can utilize what you've got. I made sure that whatever might be in your kit would work with the design. So know that those supplies are going to be just fine for you to create. So I've got my blue circle tucked back behind that. And then I want to use my white one. And actually, because I've got a dimensional in there, I'm actually going to cut some of this one off because I want to be able to tuck it in there a little bit further. And the dimensionals under there were allowing, we're causing it to like kind of stop there. So I just wanted to cut that off anyway. Okay. And then a couple little pieces of this sheet that are left. We're going to place this one here. There we go. Okay, so that's it. Like we've got it together. It's good to go. And we're going to add some little gems here to finish it off. Super cute. I love the whimsicalness of this particular card. I think it's beautiful. You could make this in any type of winter occasions card, not just Christmas. Okay, so let me bring in all the projects. And that card that envelope I'm just going to leave blank. I might grab like a snowflake set and stamp some snowflakes on there. I really wasn't thinking about that. We've got ours 2 there without the sparkles. Then our winter scene. And then let me grab all 4 of these. This one, this one, this one. I'll put this one up here, kind of a lot. Okay, so that's everything that we created in today's class. Now, granted, you've got more to make. So we just did each one of the designs. We've got 5 different designs, but you're doing 4 of each card within them. And I hope that you really, really enjoyed these. Let me flip the camera back around. Okay. All right. That was like a Stampin' Frenzy, wasn't it? It was the best. I really, really appreciate you joining me today, and I hope that today's projects provided you with some creative inspiration to inspire you to sit down, grab your supplies, and create some holiday cards. Send them out and really just brighten someone's day during this time of year. Sometimes the holiday season, it's like a joyful, all these kind of good things like festivities and everything going on, but for some people it can be really, really sad and lonely. Those have dealt with like loss of a loved one or just other sadness that might be going on, a card could really brighten their day and give them that little lift that they might need. So think about that as you're doing your paper crafting and card making. But all right, well, thank you for joining me today. Again, if you see anything that you were wanting to order, you're welcome to email me with an order. I'm happy to place it for you. I appreciate all your business. I appreciate your support with my classes, and feel free to share the video, like it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button to get notified when I have new videos uploaded. And just thank you. Thanks for joining me. All right, until next time, happy stamping.